What is happening, people? It's King X here, back with another video. And I would just like to say that this is like a fan suggestion as well. The same person, JBoy32. This man has like a lot. This man or woman, I'm not quite sure what their gender is. I'm not trying to be assuming gender here. Basically, this person got a lot of good ideas. Some of them I just can't use for personal reasons. Other times it's just that I can't come up with a good way to do that. But today's video is going to be one midnight was Deku's not midnight. What if Mount Lady was Deku's mother? And I know what you guys are thinking. Ain't she like 22, 23 or something? And Deku's like 16, like 14, 15, 16, depending on what time you're watching My Hero Academia. And the answer to that is, well, yeah. That's why we're going to change up the timeline a little bit. Basically here, what's going to happen is that Mount Lady ended up going to UA. Like, she's a decade older here. She's around the same age as, well, Midnight. These two ended up being in the same class together in UA, and throughout the years they ended up growing a serious rivalry with each other. These two are rivals to the end. But Mount Lady, she would continue on her hero career. She would continue along the hero path. She ended up meeting Hisashi one day. These two got along very well. Next thing you know, like, these two would just have a lot of good conversations. These two would just get along so well. Their chemistry was just so great. 5 years later, boom, a baby comes out. Izuku's now in the picture. When Izuku was born, it was the happiest day of their lives, honestly, because he was a new addition to the family. I'm pretty sure, like, most people are usually happy when they give birth to a baby, honestly. And here's another thing. Izuku has blonde hair with like green highlights. Yeah, like sort of like the Terra What if you watch my video on the Heavenly Sages channel. Yeah, I have a video where Terra is Deku's mother. Terra from Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go. Brain Teen Titans Go. But yeah, Midnight also knows about Mount Lady's child. She congratulates her on the child because she's not that petty. But she says that she can do better. And she would start a family of her own if she really wanted to. Midnight just keeps on trying to push that she is better than Mount Lady. Mount Lady is like, yeah, whatever. And throughout the years, while Izuku was developing, she would continue along her hero career. Eventually, Izuku turns 4 years old. If you guys are also wondering, no, Izuku will not meet Bakugo here as little kids because, well, why should I? It's just a little too plot convenient. But yeah, when Izuku is 4 years old, he is playing in the park, and next thing you know, he has this weird feeling and ends up growing to the size of a grown man, honestly. So I'm going to say about like 5'9". I'm going to say that like he is 4 years old. boom, he's 5'9" all of a sudden. When Mount Lady sees this, she's like, "Wait, what? How? Did my kid activate his quake?" She immediately takes him to the hospital where the doctors look at Izuku, examine him, and they find out that, well, yeah, Deku does have a quirk related to his mother's own. It's similar to his mother's, but instead of being able to just grow to a gigantic size, like I'll keep on saying midnight, like Mount Lady, um, Deku is actually able to control the rate at which he grows. He's actually able to control just how big he wants to be in any sort of situation. Mount Lady is pretty impressed with this quirk because that's something that she always struggled with because she couldn't control that part. She could only either be her regular size or giant size, never in between. That's why being a hero was a struggle for her most of the time. Yeah, like that's why she would always have to make sure to be careful around like the city and all that stuff. That's why she wasn't like super popular in the hero ranks. Like sure, she may have been able to reach like to rank 23, rank 20, sometimes cracking up to like number 15 maybe in the popularity charts, but well, her quirk was just kind of inefficient sometimes. She looks at Deku and is like, okay, so you you will be my successor. You can do way better than I can ever do. As the years go by, they would train Izuku would continue to develop the way he is able to use his quake and control his size to the point where he can be as big as he wants to. Like he can't, like his maximum size is around Mount Lady's size, but he can he can always go in between. He can always go in between, honestly. So he could be around like 6 feet while he's like while in reality he's still 4 feet. What I mean by this, it's just in between really. He can just continue to grow in size. He can control the rate at which he is able to grow until he reaches his maximum size of Mount Lady's size. I don't know how tall Mount Lady's Titan form is. That's what I'm going to say from that one. That's what I'm going to refer to her size as, Titan form. But yeah, that's pretty much how I'm going to end the what if. Not at least like the part 0 of it. I'm not making sense, but whatever. This is gonna be a short video. I'm sorry. I don't really know how I could really put it. Besides that, and if you guys are wondering about Hisashi, no, he did not leave to go get the milk. Instead, he just tries to be supportive of his wife. He's more of like a stay-at-home dad. He's more of a stay-at-home dad here because of the fact that, well, Mount Lady is making a lot of money, honestly, as a hero. To the point where they don't really need to have like another person working. So that's why for the first couple of years, Hisashi was more of a stay-at-home dad. But as the years would go by, Hisashi would eventually end up getting a job of his own, which was more in like whatever. We don't need to know what kind of business he's in. That's not important to the plot, honestly. All we need to know is that they were able to find like a pretty good home. They were able to buy a pretty good home for themselves and Izuku so that he could continuously train his quirk over the years. Something that I should point out here though is that Mount Lady does have like some bad intentions sometimes for Izuku though, because like although she tries to be a good mother, she can't help the fact she can't help but look at Izuku sometimes and think about how much money he could make as a hero and how much he could support them when they're older. I'm pretty sure that this is something that most parents would think of sometimes, like, okay, my baby gonna grow up to be a successful person. That's basically how it is, really. I wouldn't say that Mount Lady is bad, but like she can be kind of vain sometimes, especially in her earlier years before Izuku came into the picture. Once Izuku came into the picture, she realized she couldn't sexualize herself as much anymore because of the fact that she would be putting a bad image out for herself and her son, her family in general. That's all she didn't care at first, honestly. Because he knew that, well, she could do whatever she wanted, really, so long as she wasn't going around sleeping with other men, really. But years would go by, Izuku would grow up, and we're going to say that this is when the entrance exam happens. Izuku is like relatively smart here. I'm saying that he's still around like the same intelligence level as in canon. He also has less confident issues. He's actually rather confident because he has a pretty powerful quake. Not only that, but his mother is like a top ranking hero. Maybe not like top 10 heroes, but still pretty high up there. So that's why he is more confident here. Oh yeah, also Izuku does have a great body. Like in case like some of the female people in case some of the females in the audience are watching this, yeah, I'm going to say that Izuku has that 6 pack. No, forget that 8 pack that you be seeing in them anime sometimes. And that's pretty much it. He also has like a good amount of muscle on him. But when it comes on to everything else, Suzuku is pretty plain in the appearance department. Like nobody would really be able to tell that Izuku is muscular just by looking at him if he were to wear like a long sleeve shirt or something. Like if he were to wear a tank top, that's a different story. I'm going to say that he doesn't mutter here either. He doesn't have that muttering issue either. He doesn't really write notes, and Izuku is just overall pretty good here. Hmm. At best, he's just a bit seductive, honestly. Yes, he's had a few girlfriends throughout this time, and that's pretty much it. When it comes down to everything else, when it comes down to what is it called? To the writing assessment, he does pretty good. Like he gets an 80. That's pretty good in my book. When it comes on to like the robot part of the exam, like as I'm going to say that Zuku is actually in the same in the same space with Bakugo. Now Zuku doesn't know who Bakugo is here because they never met before. These two never went to the same school. These two Didn't have mothers who were friends with each other. There was like literally no way for these two to actually have met here. Izuku, when he sees Bakugo, he's like, "Oh, another another piece of competition. I wonder what his quirk is." Because he would still be a little interested in quirks, just not as much as in canon, to the point where he wouldn't really be writing notes like that. Like maybe he would jot down a couple notes from time to time. That's at best. When it comes down to when President Mike says for him to go and there is no, what do you call it again? There are no countdowns in real villain fights. Izuku immediately runs in, and when it comes down to the robots, of course Izuku becomes larger. He only becomes as large as he needs to be in order to really take down the robots. He becomes, I wouldn't say the same size as the robots, but he becomes large enough to tackle them down and destroy them. Really, he racks up a pretty good villain. He racks up a good amount of points. Honestly, I wouldn't say the same amount as Bakugo though. So by the end, Izuku has like around 50, 60 points, while Bakugo has like around 70. That's when the villain bot appears. Now remember, um, Uraraka was stuck under the rubble like in canon. Deku isn't here. Deku isn't going to be the one to save her here. As a matter of fact, remember, Deku is actually in another arena. Am I saying that Uraraka is going to die here? Absolutely not. I'm going to say that Ida actually saves her here. When it comes down to Deku, Deku sees that villain robot, that zero pointer, in his space, and he's like, okay, let me test out my full capabilities. And he actually grows to the point where he is that, what do you call it again? To full size, that Titan form that his mother has. That's his absolute limit. I would say that they're around. I would say that the villain robot and him are around the same size, right now, and thanks to not really having. No, I am not about to have that. No, no, no. That was a terrible idea I just thought of. But basically, Izuku has these very stretchy clothes that allow him to grow in size, and these clothes won't automatically rip because obvious reasons. So Izuku actually fights the villain robot, and these two were able to duke it out for a while before Izuku was able to just crush the robot in his bare hands. Although giant sized, Izuku is actually able to do this, and when the students see this, they are pretty impressed with Izuku's strength and his quirk. Some of them are wondering, okay, so is he related to like that one hero, Mount Lady? Like these two have similar quirks. They both have like some sort of gigantification quirk, and plus his hair is blonde as well, although like with some green highlights. They immediately start jumping to conclusions. Bakugo just looks up at Deku and is like, he just folds his arms and is like, man, I could have defeated that villain robot if I wanted to. Bakugo is a lot more cocky here as well, because Deku was never there to really challenge him or anything. So that's about it, really. Once Deku was able to defeat the villain robot, everybody praises Izuku for his strong quirk, and that's pretty much how it really ends afterwards. like the teachers see Deku's performance and are pretty impressed with Izuku. Izuku, when he gets his letter from UA, All Might appears like in canon, but he doesn't say the same things. He says like, "Oh, congratulations for getting into UA, and I will be like your teacher." No, he doesn't mention that part. He congratulates Izuku on getting into UA and the fact that, well, um, I got nothing. He congratulates Izuku on getting into UA and that he's pretty impressed with his performance. He also got 30 rescue points as well. Why do I say 30 instead of 60? Well, it's because of the fact that like there wasn't like a specific person that was going to seemingly get crushed here, like in canon. Ida ends up getting those. No, he doesn't. Ida also gets like around 20 rescue points for saving Uraraka. He never actually tried to fight the 0 pointer like Deku did. So that's why I'm like lowballing the what do you call it? Those like rescue points. So overall, Izuku ended up getting around like 80, 80 points in total. No, like 80 or 90 points. Let's go with 90. Yeah. I would say Deku ends up getting like 90 points in total, just barely passing Bakugo in points. Because Bakugo got like 88 points in canon, I believe. So that's pretty much how I'm going to end the what if for right now. When Mount Lady sees this, she's so proud of Izuku and mentions how she hopes that he will be able to find himself a good wife. Well, not a wife, but a good girlfriend or something. Like a good rival and all of that, like she does. In terms of her and Midnight. These two constantly trying to one up each other. But at the end of the day, they're pretty good. They're pretty good to each other. Just that these two really like to duke it out, trying to one up each other. They try and make it seem like they don't like each other, but at the end of the day, they care for each other. That's pretty much how it is. Deku nods and just continues to train his body, train his quirk, all of that, until the eventual first day of high school. So that's pretty much it for right now. Remembering to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Not only that, but also you guys may want to check out Silver Custody's channel. I'll link it down in the description below. Plus, join the Discord. Yeah. King Titan X out. King Titan X out. Salute. Peace. I still don't got any good things to say. This was cringe, and I know it. But you guys watch.